Oh, thank you.
Hey everyone, before we get this episode started, also, I wanted to sound like a YouTuber, that's why I started off with, hey everyone, like, subscribe below. You know how YouTubers are. Okay, but before we get started, I want y'all to know we are going extra big with the All-Star season of Vulnerability Time podcast. So, guess what? We got video podcast. So, click in the episode description below if you wish to watch the video of the podcast as well. It'll be a YouTube link, so you can go ahead and get it going and get watching it. Make sure to follow, like, subscribe below. Such a YouTuber, right? Anyways, folks, enjoy the episode. Coby, an all-star. Folks! Welcome to Vulnerability Time All-Star Season 4. Cody, this is episode 6, folks, I believe. You know, I guess we'll find out when it actually airs. So, Coby is back, folks. You remember him from season 1. Definitely a fan favorite. Coby, since season 1, which was like, what, a year and a half ago or something like that? I don't know.
Something around that range, yeah.
Yeah. What you been up to, man? I know you're still pursuing your degree, right?
Oh, I graduated.
What? Wait, really?
Yeah, I got my degree, chemical engineering. I am not doing the same job I was doing because it was an internship, so it was temporary. But I'm a full-time chemical engineer.
Oh my gosh! Coby, you didn't post anything about it.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like to post too much about anything.
I see what you mean. I know what you mean. Stereotypical Instagrammer like myself. Oh my god, look folks, this is what I'm doing. I graduated.
Hell yeah. I probably should have posted like graduation pictures. I got on that train way too late. And I was like, oh damn.
No,
But
oh, congratulations, though. Oh, my gosh. What?
Thank you. Long time coming. Long time coming.
I definitely posted, because I know one of our topics, or possible topics today is chasing dopamine, because I definitely posted my graduation photos. Not because, I was obviously really, really, really proud of it, but I would be lying if I said there was at least part of it to get a dopamine hit. I definitely wanted some type of dopamine hit, so I chased that dopamine by any means necessary by posting the photo.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, I know the feeling. Like, yeah. Yep.
I'm trying to like get away from that, but a topic that I definitely wanted to at least start off on was forgiving the time you lost.
Right.
That's something that stood out to you, Coby. What does that topic mean to you? Like,
it means a couple of things. This is probably the one where I'm gonna have like the most difficult time trying to like relate it in a general sense to our audience here. Hoping
relate it the best that you can to yourself, because regardless, someone's gonna understand regardless. So yeah. I
think so. So, in one sense, I think I want to my relation, me and my dad, and I want to say like, love dad, amazing man, love that dude, talk to him more now than ever. And so when I was like younger, you know, we kind of do stuff every once in a while, go hunting, fishing, whatever. But I think as I started to get into like high school and even like
Coby, do you have a place with a better
education?
Do you have a place with a better Wi-Fi connection? Where were you previously when we first started this?
I was in my apartment last time.
No, I mean like before we started this call. Wherever you were, it had a great Wi-Fi connection.
I was in the same room.
Oh, okay. Well,
Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better now. I'll let you know if it
Okay.
needs a correction. You know how Wi-Fi is. Wi-Fi is weird. Okay.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so early on, relationship with dad was very good. But as I got into like high school, even some of middle school, especially in college, like any of those things just kind of went away because he really, really cared about my education and wanted me to succeed. Because his perspective was he grew up super dirt poor and just had to work for like 30, 35 years, you know, just to even get to where he was with having me. And I think in his mind it's just like he could start off so much better than I ever dreamed of and could be so much more successful. You know how, you know, most dads are their kids, and it was definitely the case. And he didn't really care too much about anything else other than me getting my education. And so I think eventually it just kind of shifted to like, you need to worry about your grades and school. And so all that stuff kind of fell off like pretty fast for like over probably 12, 13 plus years, counting like till today.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like now that I'm a full-grown adult, starting my career, like I've gotten the opportunity, you know, I moved out and I've gotten an opportunity to reflect on a lot of things. And one of them was I just never got to spend very much time with him. You know, I'd say I'm probably a mama's boy. Like she was always around and trying to, well, she was definitely trying to be a coddler as much as possible. And so there weren't no issues there, but like I'm making the decision now that I have time to reflect, to like try to do more stuff with my dad, because I was thinking about it and like, dang, like I feel like I missed all this time, so I don't want to keep missing time. I want to make the conscious effort to try to go do stuff, and not necessarily trying to make up for anything, because I don't regret and I don't hold any like hard feelings towards him or anybody, because like it got me to where I am now.
Right.
And so I don't like hold that against anybody or him. But
I like what you said really quick. I like what you said. Pretty much you stated the principle of like time lost isn't always intentional. And sometimes it is a reality that, you know, has to be done. You know, sometimes you can't really escape that. I see where you're going with this, and I'm excited to hear it, because there's this point you're already about to make, and I'm just so excited to.
Well, if I don't make it, then please feel free to say something, because I want you to say what you want to say.
Okay, yeah, I got you. We'll do.
But gosh, sorry, my dog. But yeah, so now I'm making the conscious effort to just take advantage of this now, because I mean, you know, of course we have free will now, especially I'm out of the house, I can do whatever I want. Like I'm choosing to, because it's something that kind of got on my mind, and I was like, well, now that I'm an adult, I can do what I want to do, and I want to make the effort to make time with my dad, because I don't want to keep on like missing my dad and keep on wishing I had done stuff with him. Like now that I can make these decisions like completely on my own, then I'm going to go ahead and take full advantage of that.
Yeah.
So it's not so much as like, again, trying to make up for anything, but it's just now that I'm completely aware that I have the opportunity to do so without any constraints, I'm gonna do that, because I'm just choosing to do it, and it's what I want. And
you made the point.
Yeah, okay.
you made the point that I was thinking of. You made the point, by the way. I just wanted to let you know that.
No, yeah, you can go ahead and restate it. I want to make sure we're kind of on the same page in what you were talking about. That's what I thought you were talking about.
Yeah, no, you had mentioned if you don't make the point, let you know. I was like, oh no, you made the point. I already knew you were going to make it. So pretty much like a way to, in a sense, forgive time you lost could be like a method for that could be like I forgot what I was gonna say. It pretty much is like an intentional effort and an intentional action, you know, with the specific person or event that you can do now. Pretty much it's like it's not too late.
Yeah.
It's never too late. Does that make sense?
Yes. No, yeah, you're totally right. Like, I mean, I'd say in theory, yeah, it's never too late. And I mean, if it's on your mind and you're able to take action, you know, why not, you know? Like, there's nothing holding you back, theoretically. And I'd say that's the case for me. So I'm definitely going to do it since I have the chance.
Right. Yeah, since you have the chance. Yeah, because there are definitely a lot of circumstances where people don't have the chance.
Yeah, I want to always kind of clarify, like, there are extenuating circumstances sometimes, and I understand that. So,
yeah.
Always want to clarify for sure.
Yeah, but for people that, you know, do have, because like this, your words are going to hit the right ears at the right time. So, you know, for those, you know, listening that do have that chance to, you know, make up for time or move forward, you know, with time, in time. I feel like you saying that, you know, is going to benefit a lot of people in their connections and their relationships. Because honestly, at the end of the day, we don't know when someone is going to leave, and that doesn't necessarily mean, you know, them leaving this earth. You know, it could be another, like, for example, like, don't get arrested. But I'm saying, like, if you got arrested, you know what I mean? Like, in a sense, that is a form of leaving because you're not going to have the same type of contact that you could have had if you were, you know? So I feel like, you know, you saying that it's definitely going to benefit someone who right now can make time, and because of what you said, you know, in a year from now, they're going to be so grateful that you said what you said, because they might lose someone in 2 years from now, but because of what you said today, they're like, you know what, I'm going to go spend time with this person. This is a sign. Coby is a sign. So go spend time with this person, you know? And it's like, it doesn't even have to be something super scary or traumatic, like the person dying. Like, it could just be like, I don't know. I feel like I'm confusing myself. But the point that I made...
I know what you're saying.
Okay, cool. Okay, yeah, sorry. Continue. Boom.
Well, it's kind of like what you said. It doesn't necessarily have to mean they pass away or anything, but you never really know. Relationships can kind of fall apart without too much notice. And I mean, you know, God forbid that ever happen, and you know, you don't want that. I've definitely experienced it before, you know, with friends and family and stuff like that. So, and it's also important to, you know, be honest with yourself. Like, do I have the time to do this? And you know, like, I think that's the first thing you need to kind of assess yourself before you really start making plans. Like, you know, if you do have the time, and because you don't want to make promises to like keep like not following through because stuff comes up or whatever, but you also need to make time. So it's just kind of a balance through every person's kind of experience. But I think being honest with yourself and saying like, do I have the time? Yes. Okay. Go from there. And yeah, definitely want to do that in case, you know, God forbid anything happened, but it's just, I don't know. If that's something you want to do and it's weighing on your heart, doesn't need to sit there any longer, you know?
Right. Yeah, and speaking of time, like I was reading this post on Instagram. Pretty much it said, you know, it takes like 0.4 seconds or something like that, point something seconds to send a text.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like everything that you just said, like it helped convict me because I'm definitely that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we all are definitely at times, for sure.
For me, like, I was really excited when you wanted to share on this topic because, like, For me, just in general, I hate time. I'm just not a fan of it. And I don't mean it necessarily in like a traumatic way. I genuinely like hate time. And you would think my near-death experience would make me love time or be grateful for it, but I'm just not grateful for time. And that's just in a general sense. However, you know, hearing you talk about it, it kind of helps put an aspect of time in perspective, as in like time with others, rather than just a general time. Just like it can be like time with others, time with those that you really appreciate, you know, if you are able to do so,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I understand your sentiment to a certain extent about not liking time, because I say this quite often. Like, there's so many things I want to like do and accomplish, but you know, there's only one lifetime. You know, there's some things I want where it would take like 2 or 3 of them. You know, very long journeys. I'm like, I don't have that kind of time. And so in that sense, I do like, I kind of share that sentiment, but on the same or the other side of it is like, well, because there's time, but there's only one lifetime, and it's like, well, now it starts to make you kind of prioritize things that you really value and start making some decisions, because I'm known to be very indecisive, but things can happen and it'll start making you make some decisions pretty quick. So I definitely share that sentiment too, to an extent, and but I can also see the other side of it. So.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
What are your thoughts on, speaking of time, there's like multiple aspects, the complexity of time. Time can be so simple yet so complex depending on the situation or the person you're talking to. But I'm curious because what falls in all aspects of time is patience. What happens? What are your thoughts of when you have to wait with time, which is patience? What are your thoughts on that? Because that shit's hard. Patience is hard.
Patience, I say it's a virtue, dear Lord. It can be very difficult. I think I'm like good at it in some situations, but bad in others. Like when it comes to dealing with other people, and whether it be relationships or friendships, just take into account people's quirks and people's like tendencies or habits that maybe they're fixing, or this is something about them where there's a period of time where it's difficult and they have to get through it. Like, I'm more than willing to be patient in any type of situation or sense that's related to that. But when it comes to myself and work and things of that nature, then that's when I kind of start to get impatient. I don't know. I'm very soft towards others, but when it comes to me, I tend to be pretty hardened at times. So I'm like, well, I'm just dealing with me, so there shouldn't be like as much time spent on it. And I don't know. It's definitely something I'm working on for sure, because it's not. You don't need to be so hard on yourself. Like, with it, like whether you feel hardened about it or you're hard on yourself or not, like you'll still get it done. Like just being patient, more often than not, ends up leading to like clearer thinking and making more sound decisions, because being impatient can kind of lead you to be a little emotional and kind of make decisions on the spot that maybe you wouldn't have if you would have just thought about it for like just a little bit. And I've noticed there's things that I do sometimes where I do that and then I reap the repercussions of that. I'm like, damn, could have just thought about that for a second and it wouldn't have happened. But so I'd say that is my overall opinion on patience. I think if there's things that really matter to you, then you will be patient for it. Yeah. And just, I don't know, patience is amazing, but there also are times where you have to kind of go against the grain a little bit, because I'm one of the most passive
people ever. But even like, there's some times where I realize I gotta hurry up with this. Like, I'm gonna have to ruffle some feathers about this. I don't care. Like, I need to get this done. So, yeah, I'd say that's my overarching opinion on patience.
I have a very drive-through society mentality principle when it comes to patience. Like, I'm just like, I feel like if I have to wait on it, I feel like that means something's wrong. And so, like, I hate that waiting part. Like, something's wrong. Because it's just like, when I experience, like, waiting, for example, literally, it's a huge aspect, it's a huge part of my reasoning. It seems small, but it became a huge part. It's like, you know, for example, when you're at a drive-thru or something like that. Or even, like, when you're waiting to hear back from an employer or a university.
Oh, God.
I'm just like, if something's taking too long, I just experienced that means something's wrong with it. Either I didn't get accepted into the university, because that happened to me in high school. So, and also, like, in drive-thrus, like, you know, I'm like, if I'm waiting this long, usually I experience because something was wrong with my order, or they did something wrong, or they forgot about it. Whatever it is, something out of my control is making me wait. And it's when something gets out of my control. Because when I associate waiting, I associate it with something being wrong. Or something.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Like a false promise. Because, like, growing up, like, my parents, like, they would say, especially my mom, she would be like, oh, just wait, I'll get you this, just wait. And she never did it. Like, so I'm just like, I associated with it. I was just like, okay, something's forgotten. Something's a broken promise. Something's wrong. And so it's like, when I'm trying to be patient. I'm just like,
trust me, I feel what you're saying. When it, like, when it comes to employers, although I'm completely self-aware about this, my senior year of college, you know, I'm trying to find a job. I was, like, stressed to the max the whole senior year. So, like, any interview, any job I was waiting to hear back from, I knew I was being impatient, and if I didn't hear back within, like, 2 days, I would just get so mad, and then I would just move on to, like, the next job, like it never even happened. Just because I wasn't gonna, like, sit there and, like, stew about it. Like, no, like, I need to keep finding jobs, because this isn't gonna help. But I also knew I was being irritable and being, like, this way, being impatient, because I knew that I was stressed about finding a job.
Right, and those other mitigating factors.
Exactly. And then, as far as, like, just little examples of, like, maybe you asking somebody to do something or them saying they'll do it and they don't do it, I don't know. I've found that it's usually, you know, it's not personal. Like, people just forget. Like, they're allowed to forget. Like, we find ourselves, like, I'll get upset about something like that, and then I'll end up doing the same thing later on. Like, damn, look at that. You know, it's not personal, and especially if it's out of your control, like applying to any situation, whether it's a small thing, it's a drive-through order, a big thing, like waiting on a job, like, it is out of your control. So there's two ways of looking at it, where you can, it can affect you, right? And you don't understand, like, why it's just happening, because you did everything right on your end. And you can also look at it as like, well, I did everything right on my end, so what else is there to put more into this emotionally, right? Like, just at that point, you just kind of gotta let it go. That's what I've learned personally.
Yeah, I like the graceful approach and impartial approach that you've been taking with this. It's really humbling, because me, I hate every aspect of the time. I hate the you know, from your, what you shared with us about like your experience with your father, and what you just shared now, there's two things that I think of that it made me think about. Is one, sometimes things just happen. Like sometimes things just happen. Like, like if you want to go to college, you know what I mean? It's a lot of the times it's just gonna happen that you will be spending less time. It's a possibility that you will be spending less time with, people that you love. Doesn't mean there's like no time, but it's like, it is another factor. It's another aspect implemented to your time that you didn't have before. And so it's like, and then the second thing, it's like, have grace on yourself, because when is the best, it's this principle. When is the best time to start something? Or when is the best time to plant a tree, even? 10 years ago. When's the second best time to plant a tree? Today. So it's like, when's the best? So it's like, for folks, I would just say to folks who are like, needing or wanting to reach out to a family member or to like a friend, a loved one, but they're just like, oh, okay, I'll text them tomorrow. It's like, and they're like beating themselves up. I was like, when's the best time? Yesterday. To reach out to them is yesterday, but when's the second best time? Today. It's like, don't be too hard on yourself.
Exactly.
I mean, I still hate time, me personally, but it's great to hear, another's perspective. And I know within a multitude of sacred texts, that's including like the Bible and Buddhism, like teachings of Buddhism and just things of that nature, and all the rest. I don't feel like explaining all of it, but patience is important, because patience plays a part into a multitude of things, and honestly, it also saves you a lot of. It can save you a lot of like emotional hurt. Like,
it sure can.
Yeah,
it sure can.
For me, I'm just like, it's a learning process. I'm patient with people, because
right, yeah.
But good Lord, like, I applied for a lot of like federal jobs, okay, and the thing is, like, one, their application process, it already is long, but two,
it's so bad.
So bad, man. But two, it's like they don't even start looking at applicants until the date that it's closed. And I've applied for dates that close all the way from November 2023 to November 2024. So it's like, I'm not even going to be considered until after those dates. And most of those dates is like 2024. And it's like, I don't know, it's forcing me, Coby, to just be like, as much as you want to escape it, you're gonna have to be patient. At some point in life, you're just gonna have to be patient, because it's like, that whole notion or that whole mindset of, if I'm waiting, that means something is wrong. That's not necessarily gonna serve me or apply to this, because it's just like, it's not necessarily like, it's no guarantee that, something's wrong. It's more so like, they just haven't gotten to it yet, and they're not going to get to it yet because of XYZ, because that's just their process. They start looking after the date that the application closes, and so it's like I have no way of knowing, and it's not healthy for me to assume, something's wrong, because I'm just like, no, that's not how. I don't know. I'm getting off track, I feel like. The point is, Josias, you're just gonna have to wait. I can't escape being patient in life. Like, I'm either gonna willingly be patient or I'm gonna force to be patient.
Yeah, one way or another.
Yeah, I'm like, one hurts more than the other. So I'm just like, one hurts more than the other. So I mean, honestly, I'm just like, I'd rather not hurt than hurt if I don't need to hurt, you know?
Yeah. That sounds good.
So I hope that makes sense.
It definitely does. I've been there before. I think everybody has to an extent, right? So definitely got you there. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. So chasing dopamine, Coby. Let's what's that mean? What's that mean to you, Coby? Because I know what it means to me.
I mean, I think for myself, it just comes down to like, I don't know. You mentioning social media is kind of a different. I didn't really consider too much of it before. To me, it's more of like a discipline thing, or at least maybe lack thereof. Because chasing dopamine to me has a lot of different meanings, from like certain addictions to just going out to eat fast food when you're trying to be on a diet or something, right? Like just maybe impulsive and just lacking that, I don't know if it's a skill or whatever you want to call it, but just to say no to those urges because you know there's something greater, like delayed gratification. If you're on a path to something and then you kind of give in to little impulses here and there, it can kind of get you off track a lot. And I think that self-discipline is very important to, at the very least, mitigating the times where you want to get that dopamine hit. I mean, I think most things are pretty good in moderation, right? Like, absolutely nothing wrong with going on your phone or like going out to eat or whatever. Like, be human. It's fine. Whatever. But I think everyone has their limits, and I think that if it starts affecting you negatively, and that's something that you also kind of need to realize about yourself if you want to take it seriously. And I think to me, chasing dopamine, like if you're on your phone for 30 minutes because you're stressed out about something and it turns into like 4 hours, and it's like, damn, could have just stayed for like 30 minutes and went back to it, you know, like just having the resolve to go back and figure it out or whatever. Or if you're trying to get off an addiction and it's like resisting those urges to go back to it. Of course, you might have your falls here and there, but you really want to mitigate that as absolutely as much as possible because, you know, that's the only way you're going to get over it. And I think that's kind of the overall theme of what that means to me. It's just making sure if you have a problem with it, realizing that you have an issue with it, if it's affecting your productivity or any aspect of your life, and self-realization is kind of the first part, and then just developing discipline to not give in to those urges as much.
Yeah. I'm definitely hearing that. Sorry, I mini burped.
You're Gucci.
That kind of made me think of, like, for me, when I think of chasing dopamine, for me at least, it becomes unhealthy when it's harming me. You know, like porn addiction and webcam addiction. You know, like that has that dopamine factor, that chasing dopamine factor. But that's not like porn, you know, statistically speaking and psychologically speaking, it doesn't do good things for the brain in the long term. And
agreed.
Like, yeah, and so I'm just like chasing dopamine, and I'm just like, on it, we're humans, we're gonna have like dopamine, our brain has that, you know. It's just like when that dopamine, you know, when that dopamine is tied to something that is going to harm us, that is going to like intentionally harm us, for an addiction, there we go, that's what I mean to say. When, like, at least for me, I'll just speak for me, when dopamine is tied to an addiction, that's when, like, that's like when I hear that word dopamine, I think of addiction, not because I know there's a drugs called dope or dopamine. It's just like, for me, my personal experience, chasing dopamine is Yeah, it's like associated with that like porn addiction, and it's like what that does to someone's mind and their outlook, and it's like it creeps up on you slowly. You don't just see, oh, here are the effects of porn addiction. Like it creeps up slowly. So it's just like my dopamine is just not only to that activity, but it's like obviously that does bring type of dopamine, but it's like that dopamine is just damaging me. Now, if it's the dopamine from skydiving, which I love skydiving, that isn't unhealthy for me. That is actually healthy for me because the way it makes me view myself, the way it just shows me that, you know, there is fun. There can be fun on the other side of fear. You know, it's not just here's fear and then finished. You know, sometimes I'm scared that it's just going to be fear. And on the other side, it's going to be nothing good. You're just like, no. Fear doesn't always mean that, you know, there's just torment on the other side, you know, you know, and for example, like you mentioned, like social media, you know, I've tried to, and I've been doing pretty good at it, you know, containing the dopamine hit from social media, because if my dopamine is tethered to my social media, which is fine, it just becomes a problem when I'm needing that dopamine in order to reassure my value.
Yeah.
You know?
That'll do some damage.
Yeah. So it's just like, yeah, dopamine definitely, you know, I think it's a great thing. Do your thing, folks. If it starts to really like damage you, you know.
Sure.
Like it gives you a rush, like, you know, like for example, like speeding or street racing. You know, people do that sometimes. Mostly the Mustangs and the Chargers that we see, or the Mustangs. It's always them. They're always red too. But you know, they're like racing on the highway and stuff like that. That's a dopamine hit. Feels great, 1000%. However, it can start to, you know, it can be unhealthy because you could crash and die or kill someone else, and you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nope.
Coby, do you have a Charger or a Mustang? Are you one of those people that
nope.
It's always them?
I mean, I did purchase a new vehicle, but unfortunately, it's not a GT or Hellcat or whatever they are.
Gotcha. Because like every time I see them, I'm just like, can someone else start speeding? Because I'm like, it's only them, and I was just like, come on, especially when they're red.
I don't know, man. Some of those people in the old Mazdas really be putting the pedal to the floor sometimes. I don't know. They're all wild cards these days. I don't know.
I wish I had that boldness that they have on the road. I wish I had that same boldness to like go up to someone that I like.
Do it, man.
I don't have that same boldness. I'm just like,
I don't either. I don't know why I'm trying to say anything. But,
so
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So well, I mean, you know, honestly, watch I end up with one of those vehicles. I won't be speeding though. I won't be speeding.
Say that now.
I'm scared of the road, man. I'm scared. Oh, I'm scared of driving in Houston. There we go. Boom.
Oh my God, bro. Houston was absolutely terrible. I do not miss driving around Houston. It is the worst thing ever. And the worst part is that there's no way to get around without a car. There's nowhere to walk.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, because there's a difference between driving and then driving in Houston. There is clearly a clear distinction.
It's so bad. People don't go to Houston. Well, go to Houston, but drive minimally. Get someone else to drive you.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, Houston's great. Everything has its pros and cons. The cons of Houston is the traffic and the way people drive there. It's beautiful. Love it. But yes, Coby, well, thank you for your time. Totes for, you know, coming back on. You're an all-star. People miss you. And it's great to have you back on, Coby.
Yeah, of course. Anytime. Always here to impart wisdom.
Yeah, okay. Also, now that you have, now that you're out of school, Do you plan on starting your own podcast? Because you mentioned to me that you've always wanted to do a podcast.
I'm not sure. I haven't let go of that dream, but I really need to nail down the subject matter. I haven't really decided if it's gonna be like informal and personal, right? Or if it's gonna be tailored towards like more STEM related, like business idea kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Probably not that, actually. I don't know. Just really, there's enough business gurus or whatever. I just personally think that there's some aspects of business within STEM, like sustainability, carbon capture, and like renewable energy type stuff. That can be cool, but is the audience there? I don't really know.
Well,
so,
who says it has to be one specific subject matter, the whole podcast? I mean, each episode...
That's another thing, yeah. They can just kind of be whatever. I don't know.
And though there are many, other folks like that you just said, that talk about certain things, but none of them is Coby.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's very true. Have a good point.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Us here at Vulnerability Time, we will support, whenever you're ready to, because you're part of the Vulnerability Time family. If in the future, if you do decide,
happy to be here.
Hey, you're going to start a podcast, you let me know and I can help you out if you need any help.
Oh yeah, you'd be the first person I'd go to for sure.
Yeah, so I can walk you through the steps, answer any questions you might have, yada yada yada. But two, you just come on here and you let us know that you're starting a podcast, and we will support and we will have your back.
Of course, appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you in advance to everybody. And if anyone else is thinking about doing it, hey, go do it. You're you. No one else is you out there.
Yeah. Yeah, we love to hear that wisdom. Alrighty, folks, this has been another episode of Vulnerability Time with All-Star Coby.
Yes, sir.
Bye, everyone.